So for those of you who didn't see, a little bit ago I actually made a video talking about who I think will be kind of competing for the first overall pick in the 2025 AFL draft. Again, talking about who I think could be the first overall pick in the 2025 AFL draft. Again, as we know, at the time making this video, and it probably won't change, the West Coast Eagles do have pick 1. And again, West Coast fans are super passionate. They are arguably the most passionate fan base in the game. And you are going to hear every opinion on who they think they should, of course, select. And that's exactly what I've been hearing in a ton of my comments. So I really appreciate you guys who have been doing that, because you've absolutely fueled the fire for this chubby fat kid to hop on the mic in front of this 4K camera and absolutely talk about who I think the Eagles should take with pick 1. Again, there's a lot of interesting things to note though before we do get into this, and it's probably going to help the video and talk about, I'm probably going to talk about this as well. And that does happen to be that not only are West Coast going to have pick 1, but there's a very, very big chance, probably 95% chance at this rate, that they're also going to have pick 2. Again, for those of you who aren't caught up with that as well, Oscar Allen, of course, one of the better players for West Coast over the last couple of years. Not so much this year, but also still the freaking captain of the club, is, of course, going to be leaving in free agency from what it's being said. Again, this is not on accident for West Coast, because from what all the reporters have said, West Coast offer isn't even like a top 3 offer that Oscar Allen has received. And the offers that he is getting from Hawthorn, Collingwood, and of course the main one, the Brisbane Lions, are not only way more than what West Coast are offering, but they're also a lot, to the point where if he does go to Brisbane, which is said he is going to, the West Coast Eagles will be given a band 1 compensation pick, which will be next to, of course, where they finish on the ladder, which, as we know, is going to be 18th. So they're going to be getting pick 1 and 2 in the 2025 AFL draft. Again, that's I think for certain. There's still a lot of other theories. For example, Harley Reid may potentially look at moving on. Again, whether he does or doesn't, there's still a chance that he does. And if he does go to potentially Richmond, which are probably almost the favourites at this point, they could get back 3 and 4. So there's a reality where West Coast could have picks 1 through 4, which, I mean, if you told me that, like, before Richmond dominated the draft last year, I would think you're playing some NBA 2K in real life. But that's just the reality of things. Richmond changed the game when what they did in last year's draft, and West Coast's mouth is absolutely watering with that fact. But again, we'll just concentrate on picks 1 and I guess a little bit of pick 2 in today's video, because at the end of the day, there is a lot of names that the Eagles can, of course, choose from. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We'll start off with the obvious one. We'll start off with the one that a lot of people at this point think is going to be the first overall pick, and that obviously is Cooper Duff-Tytler, the 199 centimeter ruckman who is absolutely dominating and killing it right now in the under-18s competition. Again, his ruck numbers are not anything too flashy. I think he's averaging like 20 to 30 hitouts per game. It really depends who he is, of course, playing, which is, again, really, really good for a ruckman, but it's not anything flashy, and it's not the reason he's going pick 1, right? Again, the reason he's going pick 1 is because not only is he a ruckman, but this guy is a legit 200 centimeter extra midfielder. Again, you play him in the ruck, he'll do decent in the ruck, but he literally averages like 20 disposals a game right now. He gets 20 disposals every week as a freaking ruckman, right? This is a ruckman getting 20 disposals every week for fun. Again, not only does he do that, but he also hits the scoreboard most of the time. And if you give him a chop out in the ruck, he's one of those guys who's not going to be a ruckman who has to go to the bench to have a chop out. Again, this guy can play forward. Some people even believe he will be a key forward in the AFL. Like, that's how crazy good this guy is that he can play like ruck, an extra midfielder, and as a key forward. So the reality is that West Coast also desperately need a ruck. I think they have about 800 different needs, but the ruckman legitimately might be the main need right now for West Coast, because watching Matt Flynn play in the ruck really does hurt my eyes. It honestly hurts my feelings, and that's no hate to Matt Flynn. I'm sure he's a cool guy, probably has a very good-looking girlfriend. It's probably better than me at freaking Fortnite, you know? I'm sure this guy's better than me at most things. But at the end of the day, he still hurts my eyes to watch him play in the ruck. And the reality is their other option, because they usually play 2 ruckmen now, is really not anything better. The only thing is that Bailey Williams, their other ruckman, can actually play as a forward as well. But again, I think West Coast's idea is for next year not to play both of those guys in the team. I don't think they want either of those guys in the team going forward next year. Again, I've spoken about it on the channel. There are massive reports they're interested in Darcy Cameron, and will be potentially willing to give up a really good pick to get into the club and have him play for them for like the next 4 years, because they are also going to need a guy for Cooper Duff-Tytler to develop behind. So they're going to bring in a veteran ruckman, whether he's elite or not, whether it's a Darcy Cameron or a freaking Ivan Soldo. Anything right now is better than Matt Flynn and Bailey Williams. So they're going to do something. But yeah, Cooper Duff-Tytler will go pick 1. We don't really have to get into the logistics of if they're going to have him develop with someone again, have him play 40% ruck in his first year, 60% like forward. Again, do what Melbourne did with Luke Jackson for the first couple of years. We're not really going to get into that, because that's a whole nother can of worms, and that's really getting into the free agency and trade situation. I've already made videos on Darcy Cameron, so if you guys would like, go and check them out, right? But if you're not sold on Cooper Duff-Tytler being the first overall pick, and you kind of think that all of these experts are kind of clowns, and how can a ruckman go pick 1? Like, the last time that happened was like freaking Matthew Cruiser, and that guy was kind of arse. You know, I get that, right? The thing is, West Coast are in a really good situation where if they do take Duff-Tytler at 1 and you're not fully supportive on that, they're probably going to have pick 2, which I think they're going to take Willem Dersma. Now, Willem Dersma is the other guy who I think is currently neck and neck, battling it out right now with Cooper Duff-Tytler for that first overall pick. Again, I'm not really a fan of the Dersmas in the AFL. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't think Xavier is that good of a player. In fact, I don't know why, and it's always him, but why does he kick it out in the full so often? Like, a bit of a sidetrack here, but if any of you guys watch Essendon games, this guy kicks it out in the full at least once or twice a game, and he always like really hugs the boundary so close every time he kicks it. I don't know. I don't rate him as a player that much. I also don't really rate Zane as a player, but in saying that, it's only second year. But what I will say is, I have watched Willem Dersma play personally IRL, and again, I watched him play one of my good mates, Charlie, who plays for the Dandenong Stingrays, and I can say that Willem, in my opinion, is light years better than his brothers, or should be light years better than his brothers. Again, he plays a lot differently to them, where Xavier's like a wing and has played half back, and Zane is a high half forward freaking sub at this point. Willem Dersma is way different. For example, this guy wants to be an inside midfielder. Again, I don't know if he's strong enough personally to ever be able to do that consistently in the AFL, but the reality is not only can he play on the inside, but this guy can play half back. He also does the kick-ins. He can do the kick-ins, and he does it pretty well. He can also play half forward, so he can do what Zane and Xavier can do. But also, where I personally think he'll be in the AFL as a player is, I think he will be one of the more elite wingmen in the competition. Again, I think he'll be the type of guy who'll play about 50% of his game on the wing, 50% on the inside, which is great. You absolutely want that from a player. A lot of versatility and the ability to be able to change when needed is so good. Again, he is a great runner, a great two-way runner, a great gut runner. Again, his endurance and agility is insane. He moves up the ground and back so well. And the realistic thing is, he's like 191 centimeters and can take a really good mark on the wing. And you can use him as a kick-out option. Like, that's what's really cool, is that you can use him as a kick-out option. If you're kicking it down to the wing, he will usually be way taller than most of his wingman opponents that he's going to be on. And he's supposed to be way more athletic and way more dangerous when it comes to marking. I really like Willem Dersma. And I think if you have the ability to get both of them, you finally fill out your ruck position in Cooper Duff-Tytler. You fill out a midfield need in Dersma, whether he's going to be an inside midfielder or a wing or absolutely both for you. That's going to be great for West Coast. And I think that is the direction they will go. So whoever they're going to take at pick 1, I don't know if it's going to really matter because I think they're going to get probably both of these guys at the end of the day anyway. And I think that's great that in 2026, we could be watching these two really good young players on the Eagles. It just so happens as well that Willem Dersma is the brother of Yasmin Dersma, who dates, of course, Harley Reid. So there's obviously a family connection there. You could actually keep Harley Reid to the team if you make this happen, especially if you get Yasmin to go up and sign with West Coast or live in Perth as well. She's a pretty good WAFL player as well. AFLW player, I should say. Yeah, so this is going to be really good. I think there's a lot of greats and good things they can do. And yeah, there are other options, but these are realistically the two guys that they should be looking at pick 1. And of course, I guess pick 2 as well. So again, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section down below. Do you guys think that the Eagles should be taking Cooper Duff-Tytler or Willem Dersma at pick 1? Again, I'd very much like to know all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, which will be linked down below. My sports channel, which is this one, for all the latest AFL content, AFL news, all of the above. And yeah, I guess without further ado, leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.